Hey YouTube, welcome to the MC's Unscripted. This is where we talk about artists, entertainers, and behind the scenes decision makers who are pretty much just at the best, right? They're the best of what they do. My name is Doug. I'm the producer of the show. I'm filling in for Julia Glicksberg. She's going to pay for that, of course, because when I decided on to produce this channel, I wasn't supposed to be on camera, but I couldn't have found a better time to do it. The truth is, I'm excited for this one. I'm so glad to do this one because we're going to talk about someone who's won more awards than all the hosts at this channel combined. At least I think she has. Because in my research, the only thing I could really find out for sure was that she's obviously the most well-kept secret in Australia. Okay? So I introduce to you the soul thief, Jessica Paige. Jessica, how are you doing?
Good, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent.
That's a very kind intro. Thank you.
Hey, well, we're gonna talk about why I can't find any info, the info that I'm looking for, okay? But before we get to that, I want to do this. Let's start here. Before we get to your story, and we're gonna do that, and everything that you do, I'm gonna name this interview the 3 things that keep me up at night. Okay?
Sounds good.
Jessica, can I tell you, number 1, what keeps me up at night?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, and
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool. Jessica, this is number 1, what keeps me up at night.
When I'm feeling lonely, I think of you and I feel better.
That chord progression keeps me up at night, Jessica. Where did that? How? What's going on? Number 1, the mic isn't good. I can't hear it properly. But I need to know what happens here.
I feel better.
No, sorry, not here. We go up.
Yeah.
Then we go diminished. And then back to the bar chord.
Yeah. When you use a diminished, like, you know what I really like? Something I really like about chord movements. I like it when you use a chord like a diminished, and it makes it sound like the same chord you just played before it is a different chord.
Yes.
You know? Like perception, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like I like stuff like that, and I guess I tend to use it a fair bit. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of like with life, depends what perspective you look at something.
Yeah.
It's not fully why I use chords like that. It's just fun, but
So you got your guitars there. Can I hear? It's so hard to hear that. Can I hear that?
I can kind of remember that song. That song I wrote when I was 20 or something. So, think of you and I feel better. Can't really remember that song. I can show you another song that does something different, perhaps. I've been so fed up with the world lately. I wish it would go back to how it used to be. Ah, man, hangovers, they kill me. All right. I've been so grumpy lately, so uninspired. I've been existing in my sleeping inside. I've been waiting for the world to change. imagination. I've been hoping someday it'll come back. I read the book, took it in,
Come on.
heard the words, and I've made them mine. 'Cause I always thought I'd live and die alone. I was happy to live this life alone. But the world around me's changing, glimmers of hope brings us all back to what we've always known. I've been thinking that a heart can grow. My life has been a haunted house of strange fascinations. Once you know the strangest peace can have the softest bites. I read the book. I just, it's kind of.
Now I have 4 things.
Oh no.
Outstanding. You know what I like about that? That is a big, big departure from the other music that I've heard from you, where you're following your voice for the first time. That in that verse with the guitar.
Oh yeah. I've got this guitarist I really like, a songwriter down here in Melbourne, who I'm a huge fan of. His name's Eric McCusker.
Okay.
And I've been a huge fan of him since I was 15. And he was actually in a famous band down here called Mondo Rock. And he wrote some of the most incredible songs. And I ran these songwriters helping songwriters sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the way I noticed him doing that with his guitar. I thought, I'll steal that. Not that exact part, of course,
That's what it is.
"Ah."
That's what it is. We just did a show with our newest host, Kerry Tedder, and he was talking about how coming up with original stuff is it's cool. But the idea is to use what's there, borrow, steal. But what you do is you take ideas and make them your own as an artist, and that's where 90% of the great stuff comes from. So yeah, that's an awesome new little wrinkle addition to your music. I can't wait to hear what that album is gonna be like.
Oh, I'm excited about that one. It's so that song's it's ever so slightly swung, but it's not fully swung. Do you know what I mean? So I've got this guy, David Jones, who's a great drummer down here. And we did kind of like a Ringo drum part. So which of course, Ringo style, hey. So it's got all the what is it, left hand leading drum fills and stuff, or left hand leading. Yeah.
He brings it up.
Exactly. He's so great. Like, he can do anything, that guy. So great having him on there. And
you said something there. You were a fan of this guitar player since 15.
Eric McCusker, yeah.
Eric.
And there's a story behind that, actually, if you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
So there's this guy. I was going to make my first EP at this place called Sound Vault. I think I'd won some competition or something, and I had some free recording time. And anyway, it also had a rehearsal space there. And this guy, Ross Wilson, who's also famous in Australia and a great songwriter, Elton John got his idea for, what was it called? Crocodile Rock from Eagle Rock that Ross Wilson wrote.
Oh.
Yeah. Talking about, borrowing and stealing,
Right, that's what we do.
And so anyway, Ross Wilson called me and said, "Hi, it's Ross Wilson." I said, "Hi." And he said, "Oh, I've heard you're going to be recording an EP, and would you like some help with it?" I said, "Oh, let me check out some of your work and I'll get back to you." So I went and listened to some of their records. And then, I turned over and I looked at the albums, who wrote what. And I realized Eric McCusker was just this, he wrote all the greatest stuff that was on there. It was just amazing. So I
Wow.
called Ross back and said, oh, actually, that's all right. I'm going to try and produce it myself. I'm not going to say that was a big mistake, but with the knowledge I have now, I probably could have learned a lot from him. But anyway,
Yep.
so I listened to these albums and I thought this songwriting is incredible, which it was, like, amazing. And then I went and I laid down on the couch and I thought, I hope I never meet that guy because I was just such a fan. And it can be very intimidating,
Yeah. Yeah.
and, when you admire someone so much. And anyway, so after that, over the ensuing years, of course, probably because of my wish, we were thrown together constantly. Like, these gigs, he doesn't remember this because we'd be in green rooms and whatever. And I'd just be there in the corner going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He'd be over there, eating a sandwich, whatever it was, talking to people. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. But
And,
you didn't want to
yeah.
meet the hero like that.
Oh, no, I didn't want to. But anyway, we ended up meeting and we ended up doing some things where we help other songwriters, some sessions I got together. And also this Dream Come to Life album that you like. So I've always tried to put my music past people I greatly admire before I go and record it. Even if I think something's perfect, it's just like having an editor. You want to double check.
Yeah.
And some of the songs weren't perfect. A few of them, some of them were like Dream Come to Life, that song you like, that was written about half an hour and it came out just in its entirety.
Wow.
Nothing really changed.
Wow.
Same with I'm Becoming Light, same kind of story. Yeah. But Family Curse, that song was very close to my heart, and it can be very hard to have perspective on things that are close to your heart. And he said, when I wrote it, it had so many verses, just so many, and it still has all those verses, but I had to cut out basically the chorus and just make it a harmony.
Well, I want to get to that album. So save that story. Let's go back to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I want you to talk about, your father was a musician. You started, you're recording now. This is 15 years old. Talk about growing up in a musical family, surrounded by music, starting at 15. Talk about that young life, just engulfed in music. And
it was very, a lot of people hear that and they think it would have been great. Like growing up, that story, The Ugly Duckling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my family, everyone was pretty musical. They were born and they were basically able to sing. However, with me, they realized I was basically deaf till I was about 3.
Okay.
I didn't learn how to talk till late, and also, by the time I was 6, I was probably as musical as a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Because I hadn't been able to hear properly.
Right.
So I do remember going to sing.
Why? Stop there. Why? Is there a medical reason? What happened?
It was just I had very those little, you got that little tunnel or whatever it is that's in your ear. It was very small. Oh. And so it was blocked. It was very small, it was blocked. So sound just couldn't get through.
Wow.
So they put in grommets, which a lot of people have, that widens it.
Yeah, no.
My brother had the same thing, but they got his earlier because they realized we might have a predisposition to it after me, So, I remember going to singing lessons or having one singing lesson when I was 6. And then my mum and the singing teacher laughing and saying, poor thing, she's got no talent, Wow. Yeah, which didn't really affect me. Like I was a pretty 6-year-old, things just roll off your back, I think, when you're 6. You don't really take it on.
But I'd say that's pretty resilient. As a teacher, I can tell you, there's some kids who shut down the first time they hear that, and there's some who let it roll off. So that seems pretty resilient to me. But go ahead.
So I let it roll off. And like, my dad, he's a great songwriter. But like I'm gonna be real right now, because a lot of people that are songwriters, I have noticed something about songwriters, and I find it very interesting.
Okay.
Songwriters, their brains work in a certain way, and I've done some research. And basically, trauma in the childhood, when there's trauma, you kind of escape into this fantasy place, which is the amygdala in your brain. And basically, people who are songwriters that are good tend to have a bigger amygdala.
Okay.
Because of this. And I've talked to a lot of songwriters about this. Like, when I meet someone that's a great songwriter, if I get to know them a little bit, I ask them, I say, were you isolated between these ages? Like, a lot of them moved schools about every year.
Okay.
Or they had communication problems, like me.
Yeah.
As a kid, isolating. And they usually had one parent that was abusive.
Wow.
Yeah. So though my dad took me to a lot of things, like he'd take me out of school, he'd also, like the first time I was doing a vocal session for him in a big studio in front of a lot of his friends, he kept yelling out, "You flat, Jess, you flat," and they were all laughing at me, like he'd do things like that, which wasn't very nice, and tell me my songs were shit.
Wow.
So though he's a great songwriter, and he did tell me things about songwriting, and I listened, it wasn't the most nurturing environment, which is just what it is.
You believe that the reason why is because he was also had an abusive parent. He was projecting this to you, or living what he learned, basically.
Probably. And there's also personality disorders that, like mental health things as well, that come into it. He did have an abusive parent that didn't give him everything he needed. That's a funny thing. He was the favored one by her.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you don't get what you need. It doesn't matter if you're favored. Sometimes it's worse being favored.
Yeah.
You don't realize how toxic something is.
That's very toxic as well. Wow.
Yeah.
So growing up musically, and of course I didn't know that. So it says that's why you ask, talk about what that's like, because one thing I do know is it's never what people think it is, right? People see the album or they see the video or they see Madonna or Beyonce, and when you ask them, it's always a story behind it. And so I was just wondering, what was it like being that musical, that age, going out there, and that is an amazing story. I'm sorry that it was as harsh as it was.
Well, that's the thing too about regrets, or like I do have to think of it like I wouldn't be who I am.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is I'm sorry that it was harsh as it was. I am. I'm happy that it made you this though. And is that a bad thing to say, right? That's horrible.
Oh,
that's
no, that's not a bad thing. Look, I think that like I guess some people that haven't dealt with their stuff might go like, "How dare you?"
Right.
But like who knows what this life is like? Is this life designed to give us all these tests that are hard, so maybe they're the tests we need to eventually graduate into a different, onto a different level, or do we only have one life? And in that circumstance, shouldn't we get over our crap and make it as good as possible? Like, it's kind of, yeah.
I would attest to the second. I would believe more of the second than the first. If you've get over it, don't get over it. I'm not a psychologist. What I do know is that music that you make, that songwriting that you do, I feel that in there, which is why I want to know this, which is why I wanted to know the story.
Artists can be a little unusual, can't they? So,
And that is true. That's true. And unusual is the great word. It's a great word because the next thing is, I alluded to this earlier. What's unusual is for some reason finding out anything about you is the most difficult thing on earth, right? Um, of course, I don't mean these personal stories that we just got to, but no YouTube page, right? No, your website, which we'll get to in a minute, is as minimal as possible. It's is this a busking thing? Now, busking, but for people in the United States, what you don't know, we don't use that word, but it's the guy who plays out like at the train station or on the street. It's the corner musician. In Australia and everywhere else in the world besides the US, it's called busking. Is that is this a busking thing? Is this like something that happens with people who do that type of work where you just like forget it? I don't need a YouTube page. What's going on with that?
actually, busking's very good for promoting your YouTube pages and stuff. I would say it's more that I'm technologically, what's it called? I have trouble with it, the technology. Like, and organizing those things. It's not, I should get it organized. And I've been intending to get a new website and set up a YouTube page and do everything. It just seems to get put on the back burner. But also, I guess I've always wanted to, I love being a songwriter and I love performing, especially, I do especially love busking because with busking, it's not a gig. You can play the same song 3 times within an hour. You've got a moving audience, which means that you can get paid for working on your songs. And if an idea comes up, I can literally just go, ooh, put the phone on, record it, do it again, say, sorry guys, I'm starting again, and record that bit.
Wow.
You know, so a lot of impromptu stuff kind of happens. So that's what I love about the freedom of busking. And people, they genuinely are happy to be watching you because they're not there for the alcohol. They're choosing, they're not there to, because they're there with some friends and I don't want to be at this pub, but my friends are here and I don't like the music. They choose to stop, you know.
That is an amazing perspective. I never thought about it like that, but it's 100% true. Everybody there is there because they heard you and walked over. And
exactly.
They stopped. Wow, that's awesome.
In Melbourne, you get big audiences. So I would have audiences sometimes of 100 people stopping. Like, because, you know, the main street, it's got quite big footpaths and stuff. So it's good for that. He used to have, before COVID, thousands just of moving people all the time. So that's what I love about busking.
Awesome. I've in America that's unheard of. Like it very rarely is first of all, you're not really making any money doing that here because everybody seems to be tight with it, right? Everybody thinks they can hear music for free. But that's is unheard of to get really crowds like that here. You know, just by busking, just by standing on the, you know, it's standing on the corner or in front of a place and playing. That's almost, it was just unheard of. But that's a crazy perspective. I never even thought about it like that. So the fact that you don't have these things is just because you're technically inept, is what you're telling me.
That's right.
All right. So when are you gonna get me to run your YouTube page for you? What's going on? Can we do this?
I'll tell you what, I'll make an attempt. I'll try to do it myself. I don't like to put people to too much work.
Okay. Yeah. I would do it. I love it. I would love it. Okay, since I can't get the information, and I forgot what interview I was either reading or watched when I was doing my research, and the person said you have a lot of awards. I know that we only spoke of one. What awards do you have, and for what? I'd like to know.
So I've got some award. I won 4 awards at the Music Oz Awards, which was Song of the Year and something else like Song of the Year, APRA Songwriting Award, maybe for that one, not sure. I've also got an APRA Songwriting Award. APRA Songwriting Awards, they're kind of like the industry award where they look at what's the best song. It
Wow.
doesn't have to do with sales and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got one of them, and a lot of my favorite songwriters have that award as well.
Is
For a
that
songwriter, sorry?
when you say the what was the name of the Aussie Award?
APRA, which is our Performing Rights Association.
Oh, okay. Is that
Australian.
like the equivalent of the Grammys here? The
I
Grammy
guess it is.
Association?
I think it is. Yeah, if the Grammys aren't going on royalties or money made or selling things, if
Right.
it's just to do with the integrity of the music or how good something is, then
It's supposed to be, yeah. That's not how we are still in America where money runs everything. So
okay.
we all know
Well,
that it's fake, but that's what it's supposed to be.
it's supposed to be. So it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's freaking amazing. You're kidding me. And listen to you. Well, I think I won 4. I don't remember. Like, I was
I
on the top of every rooftop going, did you know I won this award?
yeah. Well, I think that I don't know. Like there are a lot of awards. There's probably like 20 or something. All I wish is that they gave more money when you won. Then I'd remember.
Facts. Absolute facts.
My average songwriting award. I wish I could show you the award. All right. So I have it somewhere, and it's so funny. Forgot it, and I took it home, and it's basically a CD on this little statue-y type thing. I got it home, and the CD had come off the statue thing, and I realized they'd put it on with blue tack.
Come on. They won't even spend money on the award. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Wow. So yeah, you forgot them because they obviously forgot them.
Man.
Oh man.
I think because it has the little plaque on saying your song and everything, so probably it broke before they got it to me. They had to just,
They didn't tell you about that one.
No.
It's obvious. The amount of songwriting awards is obviously earned because I want to get into why I love your music. We spoke on the phone a little bit. I tried to hold it back. Now I get on, right? When I say depth of lyricism, I mean everything has hidden meaning, even when you're obviously speaking words that are, it's not like you're writing haikus where there's no meaning at all and you put your meaning on it. You're speaking very directly with the words, but context is hidden. Let me show you what I mean. Talk about this. If you're too hard, then I'm too soft. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. Okay? I have my own idea on this. I want you to talk about that lyric after we listen to it. And if you're wrong, I'm going to tell you my idea.
All right. Sounds good.
And we're going to start it here because the entire lyric is important to me. Let's listen to this.
I'm too scared that you're too scary. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. You're too hard, and I'm too soft. Anyway, it doesn't matter now.
Do you remember that song if I asked you to play it?
Oh, no. I don't know how to. I wrote that when I was about 20.
Oh, my goodness. I wanted to see that chord. You know, that's my thing, these chord progressions. All right. If you can, please, Lord have mercy, let me know.
Tired of playing by the rules. Tired of trying to be good. Tired of dealing with your shit. Didn't know you never should. So yeah,
It's
I'll leave
okay.
it there.
That's exactly like me. I have 1,000 songs, and every time I bring them up, I'm like, I don't know how to play that. I wrote it in 30 minutes, recorded it, and put it away.
Yeah. I was like, that's far too traumatic. I'm not going to visit that again.
Yes, Lord.
That emotion's done.
I wrote it over a cup of Jack and an Ambien. I was playing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so the chords, and because the chords, you know, my songs don't necessarily stick to 4 chords. You know what I mean?
None of them do, and we got editing, so don't worry about it. We'll make it right. But I love to even watch you find those chords because it shows me that it was crafted. It wasn't just 1 5 6. It wasn't a 1 5 4. It wasn't 1 6 4 5. Just you'd be able to figure that out. The reason why it's hard to come back to is because it was crafted over time to find what was perfect. How did that change? We're going to get to that for your bridge. But talk about that. You have the word and. If I'm too scared and you're too scary. I thought it was if I'm too scared, then you're too scary.
Oh, that's the one. If I'm too scared, then you're too scary.
Good. Talk about the lyric. First of all, if you're too hard, then I'm too soft. And you start with if I'm too scared, then you're too scary. Can you talk? What is that? Talk about that lyric, and I want to see what this goes to.
Well, I was in a relationship that wasn't very nice, and it was about, you know, often when you're in a relationship with someone that treats you badly, they say you're too sensitive. I don't have the problem. You're too sensitive, you know. So it's like, what is it? Am I too soft, or are you too hard?
Yeah.
Can it be both? You know, if I'm too scared, then you're too scary. Like, you know, it is scary being with someone that is clever enough to abuse you, but make it look like it's not abuse, like fool you over time into thinking, I just have the problem.
Yeah.
It's just my problem that I'm too sensitive.
That's the hallmark of an abuser.
Yeah.
Projection. So, it's your fault, always. You made me do
it. Exactly. So, but anyway, so that was where those lyrics came from. Yeah.
This is what I mean, hidden context. I got all of that. Okay? I got all of that. Because the verse is all about you bring up, you know,
like tired of playing by the rules.
I'm tired. You bring up what you're tired of, right? And you're talking about, hold on, I have this thing written here. Hold on. After all that was said about what you're tired of, basically, in the verse, hear what you're tired of, what, you know, obviously is doing wrong, what you've been holding back. Every chorus says, well, it doesn't matter now. First of all, it's accusatory. The if then. Well, if I'm to this, then you're to that. You're saying, well, you're calling me this. Well, that's only because you're that. It's accusatory. Yeah. Right? And you end it with, well, it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter now. Which is a cue to the listener that you're still lying to yourself, because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
So the verse, you're like, I'm done with this. And at the chorus, it's like, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And this is the hidden context. What kills me is at the end of all the accusations, the accusatory question, if I'm, then you, you turn it around. If you, then me. And it turns from, well, you know, I'm not fully over it, or I'm trying to convince myself, into full regret. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
It goes into full regret, like, maybe I am too soft. Maybe I could have made, and that, it sent chills to me. Just how the hidden context in the words, you didn't say that, but the reversing of that question, you know, if you, then me, for the first time, after all of these times that we know you're trying to convince yourself, it went from convincing myself to full-on regret. Did I get that right in the hidden context?
Probably. I'd say you would have. I think that I also tend to.
And it's not that it's right, it's the feeling.
You want to leave things, you want people to be able to have their own internal version of your song. You don't want to make things so stark that they can't relate with their own experiences. But also, I think you're pretty much right. Like, I do also try to be direct with a bit of wiggle room, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, a thing with songwriting is also like good lyric writing. So that also my idea of what good lyric writing is comes into it, which is never bore people. You know what I mean? So having that change at the end, you know, also does that. Like, for me, the first version of a song I write is for myself. And the second version is what I edit.
Wow.
Others. That song, it came out, I wrote it. I played it to my friend Jimmy Hocking, who's in a band called The Angels here, which is a famous band. He's a very nice person. I played it to him. I said, it's not done yet. It's missing something. He said, you should add a key change. I forgot about that change. And like, now I listen to it, and I think, because frequently when I listen back to music, I just hear the things that could have been better, or could have been different. But now that you've played that to me, I'm listening to it and thinking, well, the chords are good. You know what I mean? It's nice. The chords are good.
I love it.
And I'm so grateful for, you know, my friends who are great songwriters and musicians down here that point things out to me, you know, of songwriters. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So
you recognize the similar experiences, and so they, and also, you know, the thing with songwriting is it is a oral kind of, the way it's taught, it's passed down through the generations orally. There's nothing like playing your song and having someone say, that bit doesn't quite work, does it? You say, no, but how do I fix that? What do you think? How would you fix that? I say, I'd probably do this. And then you say, and then you think, well, that's good. And I do that, but I'm going to figure out another way to do it because that's yours. You know what I mean? but stuff past him. And I was so nervous. I thought, all right, everything's good now. I can go see my hero, my song's past him, and I'm going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was delusional. Absolutely. Like, I was driving in my car to his house, and like, yeah, it was relatively hot, but the amount I was sweating was not in proportion to the heat. I was like, drenched, like, and I kept repeating to myself, I'm a great songwriter. I'm a great songwriter. I'm a great songwriter.
He's gonna like this.
It'd be great.
Okay, Jessica, so this is the second thing that keeps me up at night. Let's take a listen to this.
This is real life.
resolve it on the same chord. Now, this keeps me up at night, Jessica. You turn the same chord into an augmented chord that can go anywhere. Here we are, another circular progression that doesn't have a resolution until you purposefully give it one, right? Because it literally doesn't resolve right there where it's supposed to on purpose, because you turned it to an augmented chord with your voice and then continue the rest of the chorus like nothing happened. It pisses me off. Okay. I don't like it.
I'm glad you're over there.
I don't like that you did this to me, and it keeps me up at night. Talk about dreams come to life. First, let's start there, and then anywhere else you want to go with that. Talk about that for me.
All right. So that song I wrote after I got out of a relationship that wasn't very nice. So I made a new life plan. I'm only going to be in relationships where people are very nice to me.
Yes.
So I got out of another bad one. And I wrote it, and it was about the potential of everything. Like I felt so free, and so happy. And it came out in about half an hour. Like I started, people say they start writing an album. There was a huge shift in my life. And a lot of that album came from that, which is probably why it's quite positive, except for some of it. But, some of it's always got to be, you got to balance it out.
Yeah.
Let's not even go.
Is this how it feels? Is the tingling beneath my skin? The world's shrunk down in the space between you and me. Is this how it feels? A smile tickling my cheeks, my feet tread lightly. I could be floating, just trying to find a way to reach you. You make me feel so connected. Is this real life? It's a dream life. Is this my life? Is it my life? It's a dream life. You're a dream come to life. You're a dream come to life.
That was awesome. That was amazing. I love hearing it live. I'm so lucky to be able to do this. I have so many more questions. This entire album was percussion driven. It feels percussive. I mean, let's just let's just take a look here.
Yeah, we never had much. We had lots of fun. Run around and scuffed up sneakers.
Percussion everywhere. This album is super percussive, and it goes on and on. How do you translate all of that extremely percussive music into busking?
Well, okay, I don't necessarily. Some of it doesn't work so well just on guitar. Like I do try to envision how things are going to sound once they're recorded with all the instruments and how I'm going to write. So with the arrangement, a bit, not with all of them. With Family Curse, definitely.
So when you say it doesn't, so are you saying basically you just don't play those songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just play the ones that are suited to guitar. on
Okay.
guitar. Yeah, like this next album I've written is far more suited to guitar. It's well, okay, so I was sitting there a while ago in my studio thinking, how can I write music in a more expansive way? I have these little things that I do, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'm very lucky that just thinking about stuff can help me to do it because I'm not a big studier.
Yeah. Okay.
so so using chords like let's see if I can remember this one. Okay, so leave this it. So much I wanna do. Only wanna do it if I do it with you, baby. You're the one that makes the difference. The world may spin eternally, but we're together, time means nothing. Our worlds of our own choosing. You're the only place to be. You're exactly my scene. So that one sounds better when it's got the babe, and then it's got a brass line or a guitar line. So babe, babe, it's kind of catching up. You know, it's catching.
Yes, I loved it. It's like a musical round
Like
going
a
on.
musical round
Yeah.
where you're losing I think you're losing a bar or something in there, not necessarily not a bar, a couple of beats a time, so that the round bit's catching up on the melody.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, when I'm playing it live, I just have to not sing those extra parts.
Got to.
Yeah, but such is life. But
Okay, the third thing, you ready for it?
yep.
Third thing that keeps me up at night, Jessica Page. You have an album, seems like a newest album. It's called Once Upon a Time. It's
Ooh,
nowhere.
it's nowhere.
It's nowhere. I see it
Oh,
as it's a side note on your web page. It's a side note on the Facebook page. Everything is about the album that we've been talking about, Dream Come to Life, which I love. Is this a new album? Why is it nowhere?
it's an old album actually, that one. But
That's
yes,
that's what's been keeping me up at night. Why is there no?
it's that album, it is actually, I feel it's quite a good album, and I wrote it with my mate, half it with my friend Luke Howard, who's a great pianist. Oh, just fabulous. And I'll tell you something funny. I've got a lot of friends that are older than me that say things to me like, wow, you're looking good for 40. I'm not 40, Doug. I'll
Wow.
tell you why I think I'm 40. I was in high school and I told everyone I was 20.
Oh.
Because they, people that are like 24 and stuff, they didn't, I was worried. I thought maybe they won't want to write with a 15-year-old.
Yes.
So, anyway, so I'm going to have to tell them eventually I was 15 and I told you I was 20. Like, all these comments are, wow, just like, you just
Oh,
look
best story ever. We called it the industry age. Now, when you're older, that the industry age goes down. When you're younger, the industry age goes up. I love it.
I don't figure they just think I'm 40 because they think, oh, she's just lying on her Facebook. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Facebook's the truth.
So that's wow. Well, that won't keep me up then. It's not new. It was the fact that I thought that it was obviously the newest because it's the last thing on every. It's always Dream Come to Life, and then that one. And I'm like, what is that one? Why is that? What? So I can sleep now, knowing that that's not what I thought it was. So I absolutely love it. I'm leaving the links for everything. You can send me anything that I don't have that I'm just going to all be there in the description. You guys need to go to her website. You need to support this artist. Okay? You just have to. Because, what are you going to do when you don't have music like this? Like, how are you going to sleep at night, YouTube, if you're not supporting music like this? right? That should keep you up at night. And to end there, Jessica Paige, what keeps you up at night?
Ooh, what keeps me up at night? Well, sometimes it's music things, but if I'm going to be real, some things that keep me up at night. I have some great projects coming up with someone I greatly admire, and he very much likes to gig, and he's better known than me in Australia. His name's Paul Grabowski,
Hey?
and he's an incredible composer. And actually, when I met him, I heard him play and I thought, wow, he's incredible. And he was playing with his band. And they didn't have a lot of hits on their YouTube or anything. So I thought, oh, he's not very well known. It'll be okay. I can just contact him and I know we'll make some great music. So I contacted him and I said, I think you're a wonderful pianist. I think you're incredible. And I would love to write some music with you. And don't worry, I'm not shit. I have an APRA Songwriting Award. Just in case, you know.
Yeah.
So don't worry. And he got back to me. We started writing through COVID lockdowns, and just so beautiful. And a couple of months later, I realized, oh, he's really well known, and he's working with all the big artists down here. And then I thought, oh shit, that means if we do gigs, we might have a lot of people there.
Oh boy.
So that it doesn't keep me up at night so much now, but it was keeping me up at night because I've done some work on it. I've been working on myself in preparation.
Love it.
And also that it's all about fun, and our music's so obscure that we do together that the likelihood of it being hugely famous is quite low. And why does that soothe me? I don't know. It didn't soothe me, but it does.
I hear you. But guess what? Thank you for sharing what keeps you up at night. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for what an incredible interview for someone that wasn't gonna be the main interviewing person. Oh, you've got this. Just wonderful. Best interview I've probably ever done, Doug. So thanks so much. And thank you for knowing my songs better than I know them.
Well, we won't let anyone else know that.
Cut it out. Yeah, cut out.
Oh man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'll leave it there. YouTube. Links in the description. Go support. Be cool. Don't be a dummy. All right. Just support. Press the links. All it takes is a click. Thank you so much, Jessica Paige. That's the MCs. Unedited, unfiltered, unscripted.